Welcome everyone to create amazing event and booking experiences with LS Activities, brought to you by Archer Point Retail. In today's demonstration, John Baker, Solution Sales Executive for LS Retail, will show how LS Activities help you provide safe, predictable, and connected shopping experiences for your customers. Let's go ahead and get started. John, over to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's time and attention. And we're really excited to kind of share with you our activities module today. It is a solution that sort of came out of the need for retailers to do more extended services and customer experiences. And I'll be sharing with you today how some retailers are utilizing these capabilities and enhancing their abilities to service their customers through some of these different events. So the activities module, again, was really designed to do a wide variety of things. And so it's a very flexible solution and really can meet the needs of a wide variety of retail types. And the basis of it is that you have time scheduling, you can set appointments, you can book resources and facilities. And as you can see on the screen in sort of just this emulation of what a retail company might look like, where you have potentially shoppers that might book a meeting with a computer specialist, or there might be a one-on-one training class with somebody, or you might have a meeting room and an event room where customers come to take a class. We've got customers using the activities module in a variety of ways. And these are some of the different things that you can do with the activity module. So one of our customers has a camera store, and within that camera store, they have classes and they also do rentals. So the activity module has been really helpful for them to be able to book their classes and rent their camera equipment. We have another customer that has a mixed environment with some retail and hospitality requirements, but they have meeting rooms, and so they sponsor people into these meeting rooms, and then they offer food and beverage and things like that. So as you see on the screen here, there's a variety of different things that you can do. So reservations and appointments. An example of this might be, let's say you're in the apparel or retail fashion business, and I used to be a employee of Nordstrom, and one of the things Nordstrom does is have this notion of a private shopper. So, or a private shopper. So, a customer could sign up to meet with somebody at a specific time, and you'd be able to go back and leverage the loyalty module to be able to see some of the things that customers bought in the past, some of the attributes that they like, some brands or whatever, that kind of thing, and be able to maybe pull some items and then make an appointment with a personal shopper at X period of time during the day. And then what's nice about that is you could start that event, as it were, or that meeting with that personal shopper. And then when they buy all the products from the personal shopper, they could add that to that event. That appointment may or may not cost anything, but more likely than not, in that scenario, you wouldn't charge necessarily for that, but you'd be able to see what kind of clothing that they bought as part of that personal shopper experience. There's another thing like ticketing. So if you're going to hold an event and maybe you had a trunk show, or maybe if you're in the pet business and you maybe had a trainer that was well known and they're going to come in and give a speech and you wanted to sell tickets to that event, that could be another way you would use it. Again, if you had, using, let's say, a pet store as an example, where you have classes and courses. So if you had a training class for puppies that lasted over multiple days and times, then you could set those things up. Rentals, again, if you rent anything, again, using a pet store as an example, where you might have like doggy daycare or kenneling and things like that. And I have actually a good example of that we can talk about. You can also do like memberships. So if you have any kind of like any kind of thing where it's more service oriented, like a skating rink is another example. Let's say you have a skating rink and you could get a membership that allows you to unlimited skating from X time to X time. If you had another type of retail business where you could also have a monthly thing, like you could have a candy of the month club or flowers of the month club like that, book people so you can use it for that. And then if you had any events, if you had a private event for a company, and so let's say you were in the food and beverage retail or you sold groceries or things, and you wanted an event space where people could come in and take a cooking class and have a party and do things like that. So again, very flexible, wide variety of things that the system enables, and pretty much anything that is resource based and you need to schedule, the activities module can do a good job. And again, we'll go into the software and show some of that. And again, these are some examples. So we talked about salons, pet stores, fitness centers, country clubs. Really, again, the solution was sort of born out of the resort space. So you can imagine like a spa that has to have an appointment with a massage therapist, or a tennis court. You might reserve a tennis court with a tennis instructor, or at a golf course where you want to book tee times and things like that. So those are just some additional examples. And here where we see reserve rides and trips, so transportation, a nature walk, all those kinds of things. Like in sporting goods, sometimes they might have a bike ride, and you can have up to 20 participants in a bike ride or something of that nature, or a trainer, all those kinds of things. So, and then if you're in the restaurant, the activity module also enables you to book tables and things of that nature. So again, you can sort of let your imagination run wild. This is actually a point of sale that was done for a pet store retailer. And it's just in more PowerPoint. I don't have this available to show you live today, but again, gives you a good example of what one of our point of sale might look like if you're in a pet store business. And one of the things you see here on the left, and I think several of you are already current customers, so you're familiar with our point of sale. But if you can imagine, this left half of the screen is more of just your conventional point of sale, where everything off here to the right is more of the activity-based customers selling experience. Again, you could have just a point of sale that is really very much just focused on the activity selling, and then a separate POS that is just doing your heads down point of selling. But again, if you're in this pet store with grooming services, this might be a really good point of sale that was at a counter where you're providing those pet experiences. The other benefit of this being integrated is, and being part of our unified commerce experience, is that if you're booking a meeting for a current customer and they bought a pet grooming service, or they have a subscription to be able to come in and bathe their pets on site as frequently as they want to, or whatever, plus they just buy general retail items, you'll be able to go back into their customer purchase history and see that they bought all these retail items and they've taken advantage of X services over time. On the right side of the screen, you'll see this in the live demonstration, but the premise is that you can book a service, you can sell a service all at once, or if somebody had previously booked a service, you can pay for a booked service, okay? And again, I'll kind of walk you through some of those things as well. Of course, if you're managing resources and you're responsible for keeping an eye on who might be coming in for the day, there's a back office view of a matrix and a front office view of a matrix. And again, if I wanted to see something like I want to look at today's activities, I could look at, in this case, I have 3 groomers, and this is my store hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I can see that we're fully booked for the day. If this were a live demo, I'd be able to click on the date and change the date and see what availability might be for another date. And then once I want to go ahead and book a specific service or time, then I could go back to this main menu here and you could see you can organize these things by grooming, training, doggy day camp, pet hotel, that kind of thing. And if I wanted to book a dog grooming service, then I could have my dog grooming services here and then, pick a standard groom. And the thing too with a service is you can put together a package, and the package might be, you actually have the grooming service, but with that grooming service, you get like a shampoo, a conditioner, and a brush or something of that nature. Or if you're having a cooking class, you take the class, but part of the class is that all the ingredients to make a particular kind of plate, and then maybe you get a cookbook from the chef that's presenting the service. So it can be both services and products that get combined together to have part of a class. So again, very, very flexible. The other thing too is for customers that are using our Magento integration, we are releasing a Magento-based add-on for our integration to Magento that would enable you to book all these, put this online so you could book online and have the experience at the store. But of course, our solution does have a lot of APIs and web services. So if you had another web front end that you wanted to utilize and be able to have the front end to the booking experience, then you would be able to do so. So again, with our Magento integration, we'll have very soon a front end solution to that booking experience, but the APIs, web services, et cetera, would enable you to potentially connect to other web front end solutions. Okay, so with that, I would like to segue into the actual demonstration of the software, and we will just refresh our connection. And I'm showing you the solution on version 17, Business Central of our solution. We've had the activity module going back to the earlier versions of Business Central. So this would be the latest and greatest kind of version, but I don't think you're going to see really anything today that is not available, whether you're on version 14, 15, 16, etc. But again, I am showing you version 17 today in case anybody would like to know. So again, we've got our our back office view, which again, you should all be familiar with, and then what the point of sale might look like for an activities kind of selling. But I'll stay in the back office here. And there is a role-based homepage for the activities module. So if your responsibility is for either creating a reservation or tracking a reservation and those kinds of things, and you want a really focused view of that, you can do that. There is also, if you're more member focused, and there is a specific one for membership management that would be available to see, again, if you're more membership focused. So again, if you're in a sports club or a skating rink or a tennis club and you're, had a membership and you're booking court time and things like that, that would be more membership. We actually have a country club out of Honduras that is using the activity module and really enjoying it and get a lot of value out of it, leveraging that at like a private club. Okay, so now just to sort of walk you through the mechanics or how this comes together, because we kind of reserve a little bit of time for Q&A at the answer. So we're not going to get into this at a super deep level, but I think I'll be able to introduce you to enough key components so that if there were an interest that and you wanted to get deeper into it with some specific examples for your type of retail requirement, then be really happy to partner up with your Archer Point representative to show you things that might be a little bit more relatable. But basically, the way this works is rather simple. And the notion is that you've got a resource, right? And if you can imagine the resources you might need. So it could be a lounge, right? A cabin. Maybe you're going to do a hot yoga. So you've got like a yoga studio. You might have event room 1, 2, 3, and 4. You might have spa room 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you've got a human resource. So you've got a physical resource and a human resource, and those can be combined. So if I were to look at, let's say, a spa room number 1, and again, if you're in a pet business, this might be just grooming station 1 or whatever the case may be. Basically, what you see is you just say a resource and you say, how do you price this out by the hour? And if there's a cost associated with it, you can collect those costs associated with it. And availability, if there's a spa room 1, you can only have 1 person at a time versus 12 or more. And again, it's pretty straightforward. You then take that and you, if we go back to our main menu, and then you take that and then you look at a product. Okay, so you've got resources and then you've got basically the product that you sell. And in this case, it's a bike rental or a massage or a room rental, etc. And then if I wanted to look at like, a massage, that would be 60 minutes. Again, this is where we then have an activity, the time for that activity. It would have the resources assigned to this product. If there's any restrictions, a lot of things can be managed here. At the end of the day, the way this works is that this product, as managed on this activity product card, will have an associated retail item. So just like any retail item, you can have promotions, you can have offers. For loyalty members, if they're a loyalty member, they might get a discount or a special price. We also are introducing the idea of limited availability. So let's say you have a service that is only available to platinum members you could say only platinum members could book this product or this activity, like in a private club scenario. We recently had a private men's club where they had, well, it wasn't a private men's club, it was a private business club where they had like a restaurant and some services and some meeting event rooms where they were could say only like platinum members could book this resource during this time, and so those are some of the kinds of ways that you can do it. Okay, and then once you have your resources and your products set up in the system, then it's just a matter of doing a reservation or booking an activity. And so now when we come down to looking here, we can see if this is more of this back office view where you can have today's activities, unpaid activities, new activities booked. So again, from a management perspective, you have a lot of visibility. And you can look at like today's activities in a list view. So I'd be able to say these 2 activities that are coming in today, and you have a fact box associated with it. And again, you can look at it like this, or instead of just a list view, there's also a more of a matrix view. So if it's more advantageous to look at things from a matrix view, this might be a nice way to look at it. And so we're just kind of building our matrix, and this will pop up in just a second. And there's a lot of different matrix views and layouts that you can look at. And, in some cases, with version 2017, you could just have this popped out and always up on screen if this is how you prefer to view it. But this would be more like that spa type of a matrix. And if I change that and I looked at a class or a T-sheet or maybe this event matrix, I'd be able to see then this event matrix, and that would show you more like, as opposed to looking at it from a time and a resource, this would be, looking at it from a room. And you also can define how you might like to look at these matrices. And so now I see like from 9 till 1800, and then the next date, and then the next date. So again, however you want to be able to view this, and I can see that these rooms are booked up. So remember, we had 2 meetings and both of them were 2-hour bookings. And if I wanted to see which, customer was coming in at that time, I'd be able to see the booking information. And then you can see, like, if you have additional charges, that type of thing, where, they might be buying additional items. And then one last thing, and if I look at this group down here, it might be an event room. And the other thing you can do, okay, I don't have it on this example here, but the other thing you can do is things you have to do to prepare for a meeting ahead of time. And I was just looking at the time, so I'm going to move forward to the point of sale. And here's an example of a point of sale that might be good for a spot type of selling, right? Some of you may be familiar with our clienteling user interface, and that's what you see on screen here. And the idea here is that you can have more of a visual view of like some skincare items. So maybe they're going to come in and get a spa activity, and they want to be able to add a cream or a lotion or something like that to their sale. You have it more of a view like this, and consultatively, where you could say, I want more something in your RX line and I like a cream, and then you could add that to the transaction. Also, we can start with adding our member, so we can recognize our member. And again, within the clienteling, I can see this member and who they are, what they bought in the past, some of their preferences, so I could see that. And then if I wanted to like book at like a hot yoga class at the point of sale, we get more of this sort of step through user experience. So Friday the 5th, and they ask, what time would you like to come in? And they say, oh, you know what, our next appointment available or our next class available is Monday at 9. You could see the availability, so you can quickly see the availability and the price for the class. You can, select that and then add that to the transaction. And again, because it's integrated into the system, we can go ahead and add that hand cream to the cart right away, and then go ahead and sell that and pay with, as you would on any other point of sale. Okay. So again, I know we kind of kept things at a pretty high level. We didn't get into a lot of detailed examples, but I hope you're able to, in seeing what you saw today, had the idea of, what you could potentially do with it, what some of this might look like in your business. And I think at this time, we'll kind of open it up for any questions anybody has. And of course, again, we welcome anybody that's seen this and would like to drill into this a little bit with some more specific examples for your type of retail company. Would love to have the opportunity to introduce it to you further.
Thanks so much, John. I do have a question or two that came in. First one is there an additional charge for LS activities?
Yes, so as you know, most of the solution is part of the LS Central base license. With regard to the activities module, it is an additional license, and it's determined by how many retail devices you have in your company. And depending on where you're at, you could have different pricing. but the folks, your Archer Point sales representative could get you that pricing, but it is based on the how many POS you have.
All right, thanks so much. Next one is, how long does it take to set up and implement LS activities?
Well, that's going to be one of those all depends questions that, it all depends how complex it is. We had the one example for, let's say, a fashion apparel company that wanted to do private appointments and have a personal shopper. An implementation of activity for that requirement could be very simple, and I'm not sure in terms of the time, but I want to say, it wouldn't be that much number of hours. You could roll that out rather quickly. If you had a pet store and you had grooming services and you had doggy daycare and you wanted to build and you had classes, or you may even have kenneling and things like that, obviously you're doing 4 or 5 or 6 things. All of those are much more complex kind of things to manage, set up, and configure. So that would be a substantially bigger project, but it's sort of hard to give you sort of one number that's straightforward. But again, if you have an interest, we could certainly, again, your Archer Point representative could give you a better idea for your specific needs.
Thanks for watching this Archer Point video. If you found it helpful, make sure to check out our website and blog at www.archerpoint.com. Additionally, if you have any questions regarding our products, services, or information in this video, feel free to email us at info@archerpoint.com. Thanks.